Hi, this is Z, and I'm back again with another video. Today I wanted to talk about signs that I had, or my children had, that people were doing witchcraft or black magic on my children. Now, what's important to understand about why they would attack children. Number one, they're low vibrational. So if they're going to attack you, they're going to attack your children. But people will attack your children because they want to disrupt your relationships. They want to disrupt your connection. They want to make it easier to target you, to get to you, and they want to make it easier to get to your children. Because chances are, if they're unsuccessful with sacrificing you or destiny swapping or whatever with you, they may go after your children if your children, especially if your children are chosen. But they will target your children as well. So with my children, and I've even seen this with other children that I've worked at in daycares, I could tell that other children were being targeted by black magic as well. But at the time, I kind of felt like, I was helpless in that situation because I didn't really know too much about black magic. And I'll be honest, I was not connected to God as I should have been. I wasn't, praying regularly. I wasn't praying how I should be praying. I wasn't cleansing myself and my home as often as I should have been and how I should have been doing it. But anyhow, so signs that I saw with my own children were with one of my children, my daughter, she would get something that was kind of like a fungal infection. But when I would take her to the doctor, they would say it wasn't ringworm, it was just something fungal. And they would come out little patches. They would look very similar to ringworm, but they would never, I don't know if you've ever seen ringworm when a child keeps scratching and it gets irritated and it looks like a glossy look to it. It would never get that glossy look. There would be patches that were circular. They were round like ringworm, but they would be like brown, a mixture of like brown and light pink. They would never reach, I'll say, for lack of a better word, like a full manifestation as a ringworm would. But she would get those on her. She started out getting one on her face, and then she would get them on other parts of her body. Just, this is when I was living around my family who were the ones targeting me. But once we moved away permanently, they cleared up, because when we were around my family, they would stay on her body. Now she wouldn't be completely covered with it, but she would have like 3 or 4 or 5 at a time, and they wouldn't go away until we got completely away from them. Another sign that my children were being targeted also with black magic would be like bad dreams, them hearing things in the night, and being afraid. My son would be afraid at night because he would hear things. So that was another way. Another way that I knew they were being targeted also would be that their behavior. My son, who's older than my daughter, this was before, because my son did go live with his with their father. But before he went to go live with his father, I knew someone was targeting my son because he started to think that me and my daughter were against him. And he was about 14. And I would get on him because he would kind of like, how you'd have sibling rivalry, but it would be sometimes him being a boy, I think he would get a little bit too out of hand and he wouldn't know his own strength. So I would have to get on him, and me getting on him for that, he would think that me and my daughter were ganging up on him. They were, that we, were against him, and we were not against him. I wasn't against my son. but I understood. I didn't really fight too much with him, go back too much back and forth with him, because I could see that he was angry, and he really truly did believe that we were against him. But I knew someone was working on my son, and I did allow him to go live with his father, even though I did not want to, because of other situations. I knew that I knew that it wasn't going to, nothing was going to happen to him in that way. But I knew he was being targeted. I just don't want to go into why I didn't want him to go live with his father. But I felt that if he didn't go live with his father, he would really allow that energy to take over him. So I allowed him to go with his father, to go live, even though I knew, I knew the people that were targeting my son. I knew that he was being targeted. But I kind of went in, one of those rare few times I went in and prayed about it, and I felt like my ancestors and God was saying, let him go. He'll be okay. So I let him go. And so that was a situation with him. Another situation later on with my daughter. My daughter started to act funny, and this is her as maybe like a teenager. I'm not sure how old she was. She was probably 18 or something like that. She was beginning to act as if she was irritated with me, or that I was doing something wrong to her. And me and my daughter, I always said I didn't want the type of relationship that some mothers have with their daughters, where they don't listen to their child. They don't care how their child feels. They just want to exert their force over their child. I didn't want to be that way with her. So I asked her what is going on. Like, I wanted to talk to her. And she told me, she said, it feels like someone is trying to get me to turn against you. And I said, okay, because that's what it was looking like with me. I've seen it before with my son. And actually, I'm going to go back a bit with my son. When he went to go live with his father, it was years of him being very distant with me. I had to be very patient, and I had to handle the situation with him very carefully, because I didn't want him to completely cut me off as his mother, and believe that I had actually done something wrong to him when I didn't. So it was a good thing that I took my time with him. I was very patient with him, because I did not want, the people that were targeting him and targeting me as well to have their way. And it was a good thing. And I suggest that with any parent, especially if you're dealing with teenagers or young adult, any age, if you have that feeling, if you know you're being targeted and you start to see signs that your child is being targeted emotionally, they're playing with their emotions, first I would say try to get them to cleanse regularly. It's harder when they get older in age, especially if they don't live with you. It's harder to get them to do that cleansing, but try to be patient and understanding of them, not to argue or not to force them into anything, because that can push them away. And they will begin to see the situation as you doing something wrong. When I made the choice to be very patient and understanding with my son, he began, as he got older, to see that it was a spiritual attack. He understood that someone had attacked him. Someone had targeted him, rather than seeing me as the problem. He actually understood. He actually had a time to remember things, think back and remember what happened and how he felt, which was very important. And I'm so proud of him for doing that, for seeing that me and his sister, my daughter, was not targeting him, that it was actually spiritual attacks on him. I'm very proud of him. And I'm very proud of my daughter also for being able to verbalize and tell me, it feels like someone wants to turn me against you. Because then I was able to work with her. I told her, you need to get a cleansing bath. You need to, but it's harder with older kids, because they especially if they don't really believe too deep in what you're talking about, they think they can handle it on their own. It may not be easy to get them to take cleansing baths. When they were younger, I could get them to do it with, no problem, because I was, I was the mom. But as they got older, I couldn't really force them. But I'm grateful that I have two children that are very good. They're not really emotional. They don't fly off the handle very easily. They're very calm naturally. So with them being calm naturally, it's very easy for them to go within and try to figure out what they're feeling and then verbalize it. But with my son, when he was younger, it was probably because he was younger, and it was probably they were probably really working on him because he was very emotional at that time. But now, as a young adult, he's not very emotional like that. He's very calm. He has a lot of control over his emotions. And my daughter is even more so. So if I see that they are getting really agitated, or, their emotions are getting, a little bit elevated than normal, I know that it's time for them to cleanse, do some prayers or whatever. But anyhow, I'm moving on. With other children working in daycare centers, what I saw with them, there was one child, and I felt really bad at the time when I did pray for him. I don't know what happened because I left that daycare, but I could see that he was under spiritual attack. He was actually seeing things. He was hallucinating and seeing things, and he was sleeping a lot. They said he was up at night, but he slept part of the night. He did sleep part of the night, and he slept almost all day in daycare. And I knew something was not right with him. And I know from my own experiences, I had a time where they put, I don't know if it's a sleep spell or a demon that causes you to sleep. I've gone through that myself. So I know I recognize that in the little boy where I was very extremely tired. It's almost like someone wants to make you sleep 24 hours a day. And when you wake up, you're extremely tired. You feel like you can't do anything. I did go through a period of time where someone put some type of black magic, heavy black magic on me to where I was struggling to stay awake. I would sleep through the night. I would get up, get my children ready for school, take them to school. And at this time I was, I think I was in between jobs. I wasn't working. And I would go back home after I took them to school and go back to sleep and sleep until I got up to go pick them up from school. And it's a good thing that I didn't oversleep. But I would go get them, pick them up from school, bring them home, try to work with them on homework. I was rushing to help them with everything because I wanted to go to sleep. Like, I was so tired. But I learned over time that when that energy comes over you, you have to work to lift it off. You could work through prayer, through cleansing, and just fighting it in general. You get that feeling of being tired. Fight that and get up and use your energy. Don't just fall into that sleep like they want to. They want you to do. But I've also seen where smaller children will be very angry and agitated when people are working on them spiritually, just like you would as an adult. But you see it in your children. A lot of times like I said, they want to turn you against your children and your children against you. You have to fight that feeling of wanting to always yell or always hit them, because it's only going to make the situation worse. And a lot of times when people are targeting you, they do want to get your children. They want your children to be taken from you. So for whatever reason, they want to get their hands on your children. So you have to really learn to try to stay as calm and handle things in a calm, peaceful manner, and try to get your children to be calm. Give them cleansing baths. Read to them. I know reading is a very good thing that helps children to calm down. If you can get them to sit down and listen to something, watch a family movie. When they're getting upset, ask them what's wrong. Try to get them to verbalize, what they're feeling, and try to say, like, what can we do to help this? Like, talk with children. That's something we're going to have to really learn to do, rather than let me get my belt or whatever, or you go on timeout. We need to really learn to just talk to children, because sometimes it's a demonic energy. It's a demonic presence. The energy could be heavy in the house. The energy could be heavy on them. And it could just be a matter of cleansing your home and cleansing your child and relieving them of that demonic presence that's over them. It's an oppression. It's over them, and it could be over you too. So instead of giving in, we have to learn to correct ourselves. When we feel that energy, we feel like there's something over us that's making us angry, making us irritated, making us want to attack somebody, or that child making them angry and irritating and wanted to attack and annoy you. That's another thing, is they'll want to annoy you. But when you recognize that in your child and in yourself, start some cleansing baths. Get in there, do whatever you have to do. Get some cleansing herbs and boil them. Lemon and salt, limes and salt, whatever you do, your go-to, use that and get those baths going. Cleanse, get some prayers going, cleanse the house. I love the ammonia, or like I said before, the creolin. Cleanse your house, cleanse that energy out of your house, because sometimes it's just a matter of cleansing that energy, and it'll bring you back into a normal, peaceful state. And if you do it regularly, you'll just learn to you can learn to control that, and it's not going to take over you. But with children, it might be a little different, especially if they are naturally have a lot of energy. They're very active. Normally they have a lot of energy and they're moving around a lot. You may have to really make sure you stay on top of cleansing them, because they may not yet have that ability to regulate their own emotions, especially under demonic oppression, under witchcraft, under black magic. They may not have that ability without it yet. And then if someone is attacking them, they really can't regulate those emotions, so they're going to lash out. So with our children, we really do have to watch for those signs of, you'll have physical manifestations, and you'll have manifestations with your children just like you do with yourself. Your child may complain about a headache. Your child may complain about a bad dream, or your child may say, I saw something in my room. Don't ignore your children. Don't ignore them. Try to figure out what's going on. Try to talk to them. Try to cleanse their room. Try to just incorporate cleansing of your body, your child's body, your home. Just try to incorporate that into a regular routine, and always listen. Open up your ears. Pay attention. Pay close attention to what is happening with your child. If they seem like they're getting sick a lot, or they're complaining. I know with myself, I was under attack when I was a child, and I had a period of time where my stomach would hurt me every morning. I could not eat breakfast. And it wasn't until I was older that I realized that was an attack. I had an attack where my mother said I had worms, but I was hallucinating. And it wasn't until I was older that I realized that was an actual spiritual attack on me. Somebody did something to me as a child, and I was seeing things. So like the boy that I worked with in daycare, I had to go through that with him to realize, oh my God. Because with him, I started to realize, like, my intuition kicked in. I said, he's under attack. And then what I had to remember, I recalled when I was a kid and I was hallucinating. I was like, oh my God, I had something like that happen to me. And I realized I've been under spiritual attack for a long time. When I was a teenager, I remember having headaches a lot. So even with myself, I remember, but you know, me growing up, I didn't want to accept that that's what was happening. It took me a long time to accept that my family had been doing witchcraft on me for a long time. I did not want to accept it. So, but anyhow, I say all of this also to say that please protect your children and teach them to protect themselves. Teach them at an early age. I regret not really teaching my children because I felt powerless when I was younger. But as I got older, I started to, I was forced. My ancestors was getting on me and was like, you've got to wake up. So once I woke up, I realized we really do have to teach our children to fight spiritual warfare just like we do for ourselves, because chances are they're being targeted also. Someone is on them and attacking them. So if you haven't, with them being small children, as soon as possible, just start them on some type of regular routine. My children knew about cleansing baths and cleaning the house. They knew about praying, but they did not know about warfare prayers. And so that's what I'm saying with your children. Teach them about warfare prayers. Teach them that not everybody out there is nice. Not everybody that smiles in your face and cook you a hot meal is a good person. You can't eat from everybody. You know, just teach them whatever you learned, teach them, but give it to them in the way a child would understand and accept it. And they will understand what you're trying to tell them. Just do it in a way where it's easy for them to handle, because they're still children. So I'll leave you with that. I hope this message helps someone, and I will be back again with another video. Bye.